Is an LCB base ego only team enough to beat UmamusuWei? Following the beating I received from Lei Heng, I decided to follow the default only team tradition for every difficult mid-boss in Limbus Company. And considering how I can't unlevel my units, I have to keep moving forward while brainstorming ideas on how to at least create a challenge for the past kantos. For now, let's focus on this question. Is this composition of depressed, guilt-ridden sinners, that we all know and love, enough to beat the amazing bodyguard known as the UmamusuWei? Short answer: Wei's main gimmick is the application of Tremor and Burst on the Tremor-afflicted main targets of specific attacks. If he has Strider Wu, he applies concussion to the targets, increasing the damage they take. But if the targets that he bursted did not have Tremor, he gains a stack of recoiling. And for every 5 stacks of recoiling, he loses 1 of the 3 Strider Wus he starts with. Meaning that after applying 15 wrong Tremor bursts, he loses all his Strider Wus, which makes him lose access to his concussions. However, even without his main gimmick, don't just ignore the other attacks that come in his kit, as his gluttony attacks can apply some serious rupture count and potency, which is effectively a death sentence. But it's not a complete death sentence should your units have rupture, as his unbreakable coins are not as oppressive compared to Lei Heng's, as when it's cracked it does not trigger rupture or stagger. However, the Tremor bursts can still push the stagger threshold past your sinner's current health and still stagger them. The most difficult part of the fight lies in the first few rounds that he possesses his Strider Wu buff, as the concussions can compound up to 90% extra damage against your sinners if left unchecked. This means that the main strategy then is to drain all his Strider Wus by rotating the main target of these specific attacks to sinners with no Tremor, and just consistently win clashes. As without the bonus damage of Rupture, his unbreakable coins deal manageable amounts of damage. The composition then goes as follows: Merceau for his Chains of Others ego to apply attack down on each turn, and an emergency Yi Sang for Crow's Eye View, as on hit attack down can be useful in the event that you didn't apply Chains of Others in the last turn. Prioritize the generation of the Sin resources to be able to consistently use Merceau's ego: Yi Sang for Gloom, Heathcliff for Envy, and Gregor for Sloth. Then for easy acquisition of sanity, I recommend Faust, as the earlier rounds are the most impactful in terms of the dynamic of the fight. Losing clashes means concussion and rupture, which can quickly wipe your team.
Do you have any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
Gregor and Don Quixote's self-sustain can go a long way into managing unbreakable coin damage. Make sure you use them often to avoid your main damage dealers and Merceau from getting staggered. So after you have your core members, make sure to slot in Ryoshu, Otis, and Sinclair for main damage. Sinclair in particular does come with a buff depending on how well you balanced his virtues, which turns him into the absolute bestie of this fight. The flow of the fight is simple. Start the first round with Superbia and Morositas to remove the edge of the low offense values that the base sinners have, and Superbia to begin the long hold that the multitude will have over Wei. The constant bind will put Wei on 1 speed, allowing you to pick and choose who he applies his Tremor to. Win clashes against his breakable coins and have the non-tremored sinners clash against the Tremor bursting unbreakables to apply recoiling 15 times. After you strip his buffs away, the fight basically becomes even more manageable, just by winning the clashes easily with the attack downs and whittling down his health while managing the occasional Tremor stagger that happens in your team. Still, don't become too complacent and do try to end the fight as soon as possible, as his unbreakable attacks come with increased attack weight and effectively acts as a timer for the fight, though again, not as oppressive as Lei Heng's. Lastly, remember that Merceau will also have 1 speed for the entirety of the fight, and if not targeted by Wei, cannot clash. Have a designated sinner or sinners for dodging 2 or more attacks to offset this. In conclusion, yes, it is doable. You just have to prioritize having Merceau and the sinners responsible for generating the appropriate resources for usage each turn, designated tanks to take and heal damage from his unbreakables, and keeping your slash damage sinners alive as to not let the fight drag on for way too long. Keep these things in mind in order of importance, and you should have no problem spending 30 to 45 minutes on a fight that should have taken 1/3 of that time for the sake of this ridiculous challenge. Or just watch this video and have no reason to do this challenge that gives no in-game rewards, because games are for the fun in playing, and self-imposed challenges like these are only fun when they are, as their name implies, self-imposed. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to drink plenty of water.